Hi, this is Jonesie with Jetters Northwest, and welcome to the EAGLE-300 and EAGLE-600 trailer jetter training session. In this training session, we'll cover safety, we'll get you acclimated to the jetter with a full walk around, we'll talk about the controls, maintenance, and of course operations, everything you need to get started running your jetter. Now, this is not a replacement for the paper manuals and the PDF manuals that come with your jetter. Number one, there'll be a bag in the toolbox that has some paperwork and your paper manuals for the engine and the trailer, but there's also a flash drive in there that has the PDF manuals for the jetter operation and maintenance itself. Definitely recommend that you get through those, give them a look before you take the jetter out in the field. If you want, just email info@jettersnorthwest.com and we can email those straight to your email, or if you provide a textable number, we can text them to you directly or your people in the field if they need them. But let's get started and walk you through your new jetter. All right, let's walk around the unit, starting up with the tongue and hitching it up. I'll go through a full hitching detail in another scene, but just so you know what you need, it's a 2 5/16 receiver here, so you'll need a 2 5/16 ball. If you ordered it with a pintle ring, then you'll be equipped with a pintle hook on your truck. But you can see we've got an adjustable height here. But I also like to have, this is an adjustable height hitch mechanism that we purchased. This is not something that's included with the jetter. You can get these at any local trailer supply place. And by the way, we encourage you to get associated with a local trailer service place, because that's often the quickest place you can get service on if it's something to do with the trailer, not to do with the jetting system. You don't need to wait in line at a dealer that works on high pressure pump cleaning equipment just to get a hitch fix or something like that. So find yourself a local trailer service place. But even though this is adjustable, I like to have an adjustable one of these, because then you can switch it for different vehicles without having to mess with these. These are impact tightened. They are not easy to get off, but they are adjustable with the up and down. You'll also want to have a brake controller in your truck, because we've got a 7-pin connector that will activate the brakes of the trailer. So you'll want to make sure you outfit your vehicle if it's not already. Most vehicles these days are set up for this, and a brake controller is often standard, but if it's not for the vehicle you have, you'll want to get it set up with full brake control on a 7-pin receiver. Okay, let's move over here up the tongue. We'll talk about the jack later. We've got a 12-gallon fuel tank here. Just use 87 octane unleaded gas, nothing extra hot. And you can see there's primer bulbs on here, one for each engine on this dual engine system. You will never really have to use those unless possibly you run out of fuel, especially on a hot day, and the engine might have a little trouble picking up the prime. So as you're starting it, you can use your wireless remote control if you're equipped wireless remote, which most of them are, and just hit the ignition, pump these up a little bit, and it takes right off. So again, you do not have to use the primer bulbs every time you start it. All right, we'll move on with the trailer in the next scene. Okay, whether you've got an Eagle 300 gallon or Eagle 600 gallon, this trailer or your trailer is made to tow a full load of water to the job site at highway speeds. And again, as I said in the previous scene, it's important that you have the brakes activated. If you do not have brakes activated via your vehicle, do not drive the trailer with water in it, okay? You need that stopping power that the brakes on here can offer you. So your 600 gallon Eagle 600 and Eagle 300 gallon are identical, except that your 600 gallon unit, if you have that, has tandem axles, 2 sets of wheels and axles versus just one, and it's going to have 2 300 gallon tanks instead of just one. So the Eagle 300, as we're looking at here, has 1 300 gallon tank, and we've got enough axle here to support that. Now, as you drive about, say, your first 20-30 miles, you want to stop and check the tension of your lug nuts. In fact, you should check them before you take them out on the road for the first time. But everything is snugged up here from here at the factory. And of course, check your tire inflation per the specs on the tire. You will have some info on the tires in your trailer manual. And of course, always every day, just inspect for gouges or anything on your trailer, on your tires, just real quick to make sure it's safe to take on the road. Your toolboxes here, there's a locking key that is the same for both sides. You've got a box on both sides on most models. And you've got all this room here on a water sealed box. for those of you who have two boxes, it's not a bad idea to have one be your clean box and one be your dirty box. At the dirty box, you know, you're not intermingling with things you want to keep clean. Okay, let's talk about getting water to your EAGLE-300 or EAGLE-600 trailer jetter. There are 2 points you can provide water to it. You can put high flow water, such as a hydrant water, to this air gap fill, 2-inch air gap fill, or classic garden hose or hose bib water supply right here. Let's start with that. This is the most common way the guys supply water to the machine. Now, if you're going to have a municipality, you may have ordered it without one of these because you always fill from hydrant. But most contractors often are going to a hose bib, and you've got 100 feet of nice industrial hose that is kind of kink-free to just simply connect to a hose bib and get started. If you're going to extend this for any reason, now this is 100 feet, I recommend that you at least get 3/4 inch, if not even step up to 1 inch. And again, don't buy cheap garden hoses, 5/8 that kink and stuff. Use a nice industrial water hose like we've supplies for you. But here you've got 100 feet of hose on a reel. The reel locks. So when you're driving down the road, you can lock it up. This is a stowage point. But when you're connected up and providing water to the jetter, it actually comes up here and fills in from the top. And a feature here is this has a float valve. So just like a toilet tank, when the water tank is full, it's going to shut off the water. You don't have to babysit the water supply. And when the jetter starts up and is jetting again and starts drawing water, it'll automatically have water come in, again, just like a toilet tank. So that's the common fill point. But let's talk about the air gap fill. If you do have hydrant access or an industrial access that gives you high flow water, you can connect here. This is a cam coupler. You could thread it off and put on a fire hose coupler if you want. You can adapt it to just about anything to have when you have that high flow connection availability. And it comes here to an air gap. And you'll want to take the lid off, of course, and make sure when you're done filling that you put the lid back on and tighten it up tight, because we are often getting calls from guys that forgot to tighten up their lid and the lid disappeared when they're driving from one job to the next. One thing we want to discourage is dropping a garden hose or two into your water tank, because that can be an infraction. You can get tagged or fined by the water department or something because you don't have an anti-backflow situation there. That's what the air gap is for. If for some reason you do want to add more garden hose supply, say you're filling from there and you want more water supply from somewhere else, tie the hose up here so there's still an air gap, okay? Otherwise, again, somebody opens up a hydrant in the water department, it can suck water out of your tank into the water system. That's not potable water, and you can get tagged or fined. It's just not the right thing to do. So use one of these two water supplies is the best way you can go. Okay, before you do anything operating your jetter, you're going to need to hook the battery up. Just about anywhere in the USA, we're able to ship these, or in Canada with the battery. If you're overseas, we probably could not ship it with the battery and you have to provide your own. But it is a Group 24 battery, and we ship it with the negative battery terminals disconnected because we cannot ship it with those connected. So you'll have no power until you install and snug up those negative cables, as we've already done here. And then you can put it back together, strap it up, and you're good to be on the road. Make sure you strap it tight so this cover doesn't disappear on you.